Hey everyone, Ben here. This week I want to share how to build an AI company brain in a way that is even friendly for non-techies, because I think there are very pragmatic, non-codey ways to build good memory system, connect all of your processes like your CRM, your calendar, your inbox, every tool that you're using in your business with Claude Code at the center. That is the goal for today. And the benefit of all of this is, as you can see here on the image, you are the founder, maybe with your co-founder like me and Christina, and you essentially just work on the brain and you delegate your work to agents and humans, and they get coordinated by the brain. This is a huge productivity boost for me and Christina, and I hope it will help you as well. As always, remember you can read this on pirateskills.com, you can watch it on YouTube, or you can listen to it on our podcast on Apple Podcast or Spotify, as you like. So let's dig into it. The most important thing to get a pragmatic company brain without too much tech going is that you need to start working completely out of a coding agent, something like Claude Code or Codex. Everything is fine that you're using as long as you have a central agent that you trust to access to your very personal tools that you use for everyday work. I'll show you mine here. If I move here to the left side, this is how my Claude Code looks like when I'm working on Pirate Skills. In this case, I have prepared a sample data version of my customer magic process, which is my word for keeping good relationships with my customers and the people who I want to become customers. So all of this is their real items. I just renamed them and changed or anonymized the values just to protect their data. Here you can, for example, see that I have built a dashboard for myself within Claude Code. This is just an HTML file that tells me exactly what to do next. It knows everything about me. It knows my emails. It has read my WhatsApp. It has read my LinkedIn, checked my calendar, checked my CRM, my database, Stripe, everything. And then, based on my decision, knows enough about the company to tell me, Ben, you need to do this next, then this, then this. And I think that is the huge opportunity to think about it like this. Every work stream that you are responsible for deserves like an ongoing conversation in that coding agent. Here's the example with Customer Magic, but I could be having this for LinkedIn, for analytics, for content. So if you look at this in my real Claude Code here, you can see this is my daily customer magic, but this is my conversation with which I write my weekly content and prepare these videos and everything. Then there is one that is just there to create videos and images just the way our style guide deems it. This was a recent one where I wanted to really take control more of my Google Drive. It got filled up. I was at 90% usage for like a 5 terabyte volume, and it helped me identify half of the stuff that is necessary. Now I'm down by 3 terabytes in total. This is just one little piece of it. The Pirate Skills event conversation is how I plan and organize my events. And for all of this stuff to work, your agent needs a lot of context. And this is another reason why I keep like a steady conversation open. I'm not too worried about context window and occasional summaries and compacting those conversations. Since about Opus 4.5, I'm not too worried about the quality of summaries and compaction anymore. So I just have most of the time like one continuous conversation about a specific topic. So each conversation corresponds to a work stream. What do I mean by work stream? Let's take a look at another example. This is Bridesmaid. This is Christina, my startup. We are currently fundraising. That is a work stream. Keeping track on our data and conversion rate optimization checks and writing a journal on that. That is another work stream. Keeping an eye that we are on strategy, that we're really doing the stuff that we committed to. Managing meta ads, creating organic content. Those are all work streams that all deserve a single conversation. Now, this is just a little part of that, but let me continue. These conversations need context and tools. Let's take, for example, this meta ads conversation. Where does it get its context? How does it know what we are doing, what a good ad is, what this company is even doing? Now, let me just open my files. Let me pull them over here. And two important places. There is my documentation, everything for traffic generation here, for example. This is on the right-hand side already open, my journal. This is all of the progress we have made in the campaigns. This is how we monitor things. This is how we document incidents, so bad things don't happen again. And this is true for everything. For example, for the roadmap, for the strategy, here's our acquisition strategy, our current bottlenecks, our business model, our offers, everything that we do, how we are set up in the team. So it can pull this information from the documentation with the help of skills. But we'll get to that in a moment. But that should give you the idea. Another way we connect everything is plugins and connectors. Here you can see that this Claude Code instance is, for example, connected to the Meta Ads account from Bridesmaid, but it can also see what we are doing on Stripe, payment-wise. It can look into our database. It can read our Slack notifications and messages. It can read my mails and everything. Of course, it requires a lot of trust, but we have built this trustful relationship over time, and a company brain definitely requires a lot of trust. So each work stream goes into a single conversation. Now you need to feed your AI brain, but not with a fancy, complex vector database that you might hear on Twitter. Keep it simple. As I showed you, let the AI write documentation, how things are working, how you like things to be done, what your tone of voice is, how you score leads, your conventions with whatever you're doing. Then let the AI generate skills. There is a skill called /skill creator by Anthropic that will help you take this documentation, take the experiences that your agent gathered with you in any given conversation, and then say, hey, let's create a skill out of that. Here, this is the one, /skill creator. But there are so many skills in here. So for example, for my meta ads, I have this meta ads skill that has been developed over time in the conversation. And whenever I don't like something that it does, I just tell the agent in the conversation, don't only fix it, but also fix it in the skill. This leads to self-updating documentation and skills. Then sometimes for certain tasks like keeping a journal of your progress towards your strategy, the feature ideas that you're building or customer feedback, you want to keep a working memory, and agents have limited context. And if you ever happen to start like a new conversation, I like to let it keep its own journals so it can know, what have we done on this date at this time? And then build dashboards for it. This is what I showed you. What's happening here is in this conversation with the customer magic skill. Here on the right-hand side is this dashboard. You see, it's not in some external SaaS tool. It is in here. Instead of it writing Markdown, like in skills or documentation, I now ask it to just create a dashboard for me in HTML. And it has some minor interactivity. For example, if I want to see more opportunities, I can just show the next 5 to 10. But this is all created based on my needs. For example, I went to Cologne Startup Summer Night last week, and I spoke to 20 people at the event. And I took pictures, I fed these pictures and some commentary into this conversation, and it knew I need to do something with it. Let's create a new section on Ben's dashboard and just say, these are the opportunities in order of importance, how I would check in. All of these are anonymized. Again, this is demo sample data, but they are the exact amount of items, and they all correspond to real things that are happening. This is so incredibly valuable for me because now I don't forget this and I can get this work done. There were initially like 17 opportunities, but I already took care of 2 by talking with the agent here in this conversation, it having all of the necessary context, calendar, email, WhatsApp history with the people I was talking to, and it wrote the replies via email, via WhatsApp, via LinkedIn. However, I needed that. Then there are other cases, like when I'm, for example, doing a big update of the platform, or if I'm updating the codex. This is more product related. Yes, semi-product, semi-marketing, but all of these work streams live in here for a while. And then they get archived if I don't need them anymore. But for example, Customer Magic Daily definitely lives here. And those are also very steady work streams and steady conversations. So let's get back to the article. The main message in here is don't get scared by fancy technical setups. None of this has been set up by me. This has been happening over time. This company brain evolved and it's getting better and better by me giving it feedback and telling it what I didn't like, what I liked. So it kept improving itself, kept improving the documentation, the skills, how it journaled, how it built the dashboards for me. So what you expect from a brain is that it evolves. And this setup completely rewrites its own brain over time. All of these skills and documentations that I've shown you so far in dashboards have gone over like a dozen weeks of iterations now. So it's now the ideal, absolutely fitting, like hand-to-glove companion for me and Christina. And you can set this up for yourself and for your teammates and work together on this brain. So let's say you don't like something here. It logged something in the journal and it moved on. But I gave it some feedback to say, log it in the journal. And then don't forget that you also need to keep my CRM in the loop. If there is a task, you need to update it, mark it checked off, and or create a new one. And then tell me what's next. Don't just write an entry and then it's finished. So I keep these small edits that make my work life easier always in here and tell it what I don't like. So a lot of people try AI and they think like, no, this is not good for me, not good enough for my work. This is because they haven't spent any time in writing and rewriting the brain. And it is actually not a lot of work. I just press this button on my mouse that starts the voice-to-text conversation and off we go. I can rant, it improves, next time it's already better. So for none of this do you need to be a super technical brain. This is intended as a tutorial for people like me and you who don't have a technical background. This is not building fancy infrastructure on some servers. This is boring plain text documents. It has been said also a lot by people at Y Combinator that a lot of software can now be written as skills in a markdown file. And this is really fundamentally what is happening here. So whatever that is, you can just talk to the AI and it creates it for you. Let me give you some examples of how I handle permissions. So what it can run on its own, it can draft everything in my WhatsApp or in my email, but I want to be the person pressing send. If I say explicitly send, then it will send it out, but not until I say so. And this was a trust relationship that had to be built up over time because I only have high value deals and I don't want to mess any one of my existing multi-year long relationships up. On the contrary, I want to be able to do a better job, to serve them better, to connect more with them. This is why I chose this customer magic example here, because it's so high stakes, but I use it for anything, for marketing, sales, product development, design, strategy. I also wanted to self-optimize and sync the dashboards and score and do journals. But as soon as I'm spending money on something by a tool, usage of an API key that costs something, it has to ask me first. Also, whenever I want to save or publish something, I want to be the last line of defense, even though I give it already a lot of freedom in that regard. But I also want to be honest that this is not a completely hands-off process. It is a lot of work going into feedbacking it, allowing it to build this agentic memory in your files, and then trusting it, but correcting it. Especially when you switch a model, don't expect the behavior to be exactly on point, but something needs to be updated and changed and trimmed over time. Because all of these models become better and better, and they need less and less guidance by us and a little bit more freedom to act. But you will get a feeling if you just start with something small. So my recommendation in Claude Code, open a new conversation, start with a new folder, a fresh one, and start telling it what to document, your rules in whichever work stream you want to automate. You don't need to do it all at once. Take something annoying, like let's say email, that requires a lot of trust, I know, but that is a really, really helpful one. Give it access to your email through some connector on Google Cloud. Give it access to some connector like Claude Code or Codex, and then let it read your emails only and suggest what to do and how to organize it, and have this back and forth conversation, wrap it in a rule, and then let it start working. this is my recommendation if you want to discuss this a bit more. This Wednesday, we're going to have a Pirate Lab where we talk about this in detail. But in general, we always have interesting events online and offline where you can join us for free, like Vibe Coding Cologne every first Wednesday of the month, next time on August 5th. These Pirates Lab happens once or twice a month, but purely online. Then once a quarter, we do the Vibe Hackathon. Next one is on September 4th. Save the date. Until July 31st, you get €30 off. So it's only €60 entry fee instead of 90. And if you want to become your own Vibe coder and Vibe marketer, join the Pirate Forge. Check it out. It launches next time on September 3rd. I hope that was fun for you. This was my idea how to build a company brain from a very non-techie perspective. I hope you enjoy this. I hope it's as valuable for you as it is for me. And let me know in the comments. See you there. Bye-bye.